Yesterday, leaked footage of Destiny 2's European Dead Zone surfaced with a ton of information that we have yet to see. But before I get into this new information, there are a few things that I want to mention. First, the information in the leaked footage could be considered a spoiler, so if your intention is to go into Destiny 2 blind, this is not the video for you. Consider this your warning. Second, this footage is getting taken down by Activision, who is swiftly handing out copyright strikes to anyone who uploads the footage, so I will not show any direct footage or even screenshots. So you'll simply have to trust me that what I'm saying is actually coming in Destiny 2, as I will not risk my channel in order to show proof. But with that said, let's get into this. I will simply be stating what I saw in the footage in sort of a quickfire fashion and not speculating much on the topics. Early on in the footage, we were presented with Guardians triggering a public event. This event was not particularly on a timer, but instead activated manually by the player, instantly recharging his super. The event itself was very similar to a war set, but instead was a Cabal extraction that not only threw enemies at the players, but also dropped bombs systematically within the capture zone. Upon completion, a chest spawned awarding the players with a blue engram and a consumable known as an EDZ token, which the token itself we will discuss later. From here, the footage quickly jumped into an everyday patrol similar to the collection patrols in Destiny 1, where killing specific enemies dropped specific items, and after collecting a certain amount of that item, the patrol would finish. However, this wasn't the focus of the footage. While completing the patrol, a notification appeared on the screen stating a high-value target was nearby. This was identical to the public events we know in Destiny 1, but in Destiny 2, these are not public events, but instead just random occurrences. The player simply found the target and killed it, which gave another notification stating that the high-value target dropped its plunder, from which a chest spawned, awarding the players with another EDZ token. From here, the footage quickly jumped to a chest similar to the gold chest currently in Destiny 1. These had a symbol on them indicating it was a regional chest, a symbol which has been seen numerous times in trailers when the trailer showed the map or the director. Upon opening the chest, the player was given another 3 EDZ tokens. Again, we will discuss these tokens later. Shortly after, we saw adventures. These are exactly like patrols when it comes to activation, but vastly more in depth when it comes to completion, where Ikora instructed the player to find a power core in a Cabal tank and place that power core in a comms device. When the player found the Cabal tank, he also found something called Dusklight, which is what I assume is the European Dead Zone equivalent to spin metal, which like EDZ tokens will be explained later in the video. But back to the adventure, this set of find the power core and place it somewhere else is assumed to be repeated a couple times, but the footage of this was not shown. Instead, the footage jumped to a large-scale fight where players had to manipulate the communications. Now that's quoted, manipulate the communications was what the objective was, but the players had to stand at a specific spot similar to like capturing a war sat, and occasionally moving power cores around the area, which was called Firebase Hades. In addition, during this section, the player pulled out his ghost showing something called a challenge, which told the player to complete 3 tasks, one of which was to complete a lost sector in the area, another was to kill a certain number of Cabal, and off the top of my head, I can't remember what the third was. As to what this was for, how often do you complete these challenges, and what rewards you receive from these challenges, as well as adventures themselves, is unknown at this time outside of when they did complete the adventure, they did receive an engram and an EDZ token. From here, the footage jumped to the player finding and entering a lost sector, which happened to be overran by Fallen, but not much else is known as the clip was brief, and outside of a few kills in the initial room, nothing else was shown. Following this is where Dusklight and EDZ tokens come into play. While what I assume was a patrol, the player entered a church and climbed to the top floor where he found an NPC, who we have heard of before, known as Deverin K. He is the European Dead Zone NPC, and from the footage is very similar to the faction leaders we currently have in Destiny 1. So much so, he himself had a reputation that could be earned via the previously mentioned EDZ tokens and Dusklight. Tokens could be turned in bulk, and 10 seemed to fill about 50% of one faction level. It also showed what was called an EDZ engram, which said it would grant 206 power items. Upon accepting the engram, the player was given a legendary shotgun, a legendary rocket launcher, and 2 identical shaders. He also turned in the 3 Dusklight he's had, and as I said, the player had 17 EDZ tokens. He turned in 10 all at once, which then converted to turning in 5 all at once, and then he turned in the final 2. So it looks like bulk turn-ins are definitely going to be a thing for these EDZ tokens, and reputation earned to gain faction levels with European Dead Zone, which I can only assume works for all 4 planets in Destiny 2, seem to give zone-specific engrams. That's about as much as I'm going to speculate on that though. The footage then jumped to another public event, although it didn't provide much information as to what the objective of the event was, and right before completion of the public event, the footage ended. Like I said, I wish I could show you footage and proof of these claims, but you'll just have to take my word. If you are questioning the legitimacy of any of these claims, wait 12 days when Destiny 2 is fully out. And when these claims are true, I can jokingly say I told you so. For everyone else, I wanted to tell you guys that once Destiny 2 is here, I'll be streaming incredibly regularly over on Twitch. And if that interests you, a link to my Twitch channel can be found in the description. There are a few other links down there as well, so check this out if you'd like. But for now, I'm gonna get out of here. Say my name is Matt, and I'll see you guys next time.